Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Last night we recited the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah and we completed approximately 1.25 juz. I'd like to just focus on one of those verses which were recited last night and derive lessons from it and implement them in our lives. Basically, our relationships, our interaction, the way we talk each other is the basis of how we form relationships. Relationships are formed by the way we talk, the way we act, the way we interact with each other. All of these actions, they are the means through which relationships are formed. And if we talk out of turn, and if we talk in a way which is inappropriate, then this leads to breakdown of relationships. It leads to rifts between Muslim brothers or even blood brothers, and it leads to households breaking up and leading to divorce. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has told us to talk in a way which is clear cut and does not lead to these kinds of difficulties. One of those verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, la taqulu ra'ina wa qulu nzurna wasma'u walil kafirina adhabun alim. O people of Iman, don't say ra'ina. Now this word, ra'ina, was used by the Jews to address the Prophet ﷺ. And linguistically speaking, it means pay attention to us, or listen to what we want to say to you. But if you use that same word in a different way, then it can have different meanings and connotations. For example, the same word ra'ina in the Hebrew language, if pronounced a certain way, it means may Allah make you deaf. And this is similar to what the Jews used to say to the Prophet ﷺ when he used to come, Assalamu alaikum, pretending that they were saying Assalamu alaikum. They used to say Assalamu alaikum, which means poison be upon you, meaning may you be destroyed. Once Aisha radiallahu ta'ala heard this, and she responded in a very rough way. The Prophet ﷺ calmed her down and told her, didn't you hear what I said to them? I didn't say wa alaikum assalam, but I said wa alaikum, meaning I responded in kind to what they had said. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us in this verse, don't say ra'ina. So the same word, it can mean may you be deaf, and if you twist it a little bit more and say ra'ina, it means our shepherd. Okay, so insulting the Prophet ﷺ and making it look like they're saying that pay attention to us or listen to us. So instead, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَكِنْ قُولُوا أُنظُرْنَا. When you're addressing the Prophet ﷺ, say unظurna, meaning look at us, pay attention to us. And this word unظurna doesn't have any kind of meaning which could be taken out of context. وَاسْمَعُوا, and just pay attention to him. Rather than telling him to pay attention to you, just wait for him to speak. And this was again the way that the Sahaba, they used to sit with the Prophet ﷺ, and rather than asking him questions and having the possibility of being disrespectful and saying something out of turn, the Sahaba, they used to tell the Prophet ﷺ, they used to sit with the Prophet ﷺ and to interact with him and just wait for him to advise them. So wasma'u, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, listen to him. Now how does this fit into our way of life? Remember, this ayah is not just for the Sahaba, and the Prophet ﷺ, he's not with us. So how do we learn from this? There is a concept in relationships of being passive aggressive. Passive aggressive means that you say certain words and they could have two meanings. In Arabic, it's called tawriya. That you use a certain word and it can have one meaning, but also it can have another meaning. Or you say something in a sarcastic way, right? So it would seem that, okay, I didn't mean to say that, but the sarcasm, it just comes out, and you can tell that you're being sarcastic. So this passive aggressive way of talking, it's not something that is Islamically accepted. Be clear, be polite, be respectful, and don't use words which can have a double meaning, and don't use sarcasm in all ways when you just want to get a negative point across. So there are similar things used. There's a hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ, he said, لا تقولوا للعنب الكرم. Don't use the word karam for grapes. So the word karam, linguistically, it means a person who has nobility, a person who's noble, generous. So what the Prophet ﷺ was saying was, don't use this word karam for the grape. The grape is a fruit, and yes, it has its positive aspects, but in those days they used to use grapes for what? Making wine. So don't use this word karam, nobility, generosity, this very positive word, for grapes through which khamr is derived, but use the word habla. وَلَكِنْ قُولُوا habla. Call grapes habla, and don't use the word karam for grapes. So karam, again, it means noble. And this is a very unique word. It's a mastar, and it's used to denote singular, feminine, plural, dual. It's used for all of them. For example, rajulun karam, mar'atun karam, rijalani karam, rijalun karam. The same word is used for masculine, feminine, and so on. And it's mastar, which is used to describe something. For example, zaydun adl. So in a similar note, in a similar vein, the Prophet ﷺ told people, don't say abdi. لا تقولوا عبدي ولكن قولوا فتايا. Abdi, it means my slave. And of course, in those days, people used to have slaves. But the word abd, the real sense of abd, is a person who is the abd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So instead of saying abdi, my slave, use the word fataya. Fata basically means young man, and the same word was used for slave too. But there's no mix-up between abd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and abd of a human being when you say fataya. So the word abd should be used specifically to denote the relationship between a slave and Allah, rather than a slave and another human being. So the summary of this is that we should use words carefully, and we should use words which are respectful, and also linguistically, there's I'll finish by just saying this last point. Linguistically, there are languages which are respectful and which are disrespectful, and this is one thing that you might hear our elders talking about a lot, that English is a very disrespectful language because it doesn't differentiate between young and small, and elder and somebody who's younger than you. So in Urdu, for example, we would use different words and different terminology to talk about or talk to or address people that are older than us. Okay, and if you're talking to somebody who's on an equal level with you, you may use the word tum or tu, and when a person is of younger than you. or when you want to talk disrespectfully. But however, in English, you don't have that. The word you is used for old and young and so on. So sometimes we have to kind of get into the nitty gritty of this issue also. That linguistically, when you are talking, what wording are you using? Does that wording denote disrespect or does it denote respect to a person? So it's very important. Again, this is along the same lines that choose your words carefully and talk with respect, and make sure that you don't get a negative meaning portrayed uh, when you are talking to somebody or addressing somebody. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to understand and practice what has been said and heard. Jazakumullahu khair.